The content of this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be legal or therapeutic advice. Parents, know you really do want to pay child support. Before you say, Tamara, are you crazy? No, I don't. Well, let's look at a few cases of people that didn't want to pay child support. The first, that of Steven Zennel. In 2014, he was sentenced to a 17-year prison term for bankruptcy fraud. And he committed this in order to avoid paying child support. And after reading about it, I thought about how he's the rare one, the one who got caught. I thought of the probable millions of children and former spouses that are cheated each year and the large number of cheaters that don't get caught. Cheated innocent spouses frequently lack the resources to hire forensic accountants, which are very expensive, and lawyers to prove the fraud. They may suspect they're being cheated, but it will likely never be uncovered. Here, Mr. Zennel was caught because his fraud went beyond cheating his former spouse and his kids. He cheated his creditors and the Internal Revenue Service. And the sad part is he had to forfeit his assets. So it's my guess that his wife and kids probably got nothing. And with the amount forfeited, $2.8 million, there were adequate resources to support his wife and children and do right by them. He just chose not to. I feel sick for his kids. Just imagine having a father that would rather cheat you than take care of you. One that would place a phone call from prison to his children and say it all started because of your mom. Judge Newley, in the case, described Zennel as narcissistic. And after reading the work of Bill Eddy, Lundy Bancroft, Linda Martinez-Levy, Ph.D., Carol McBride, Ph.D., I could easily pick out a few of the highly narcissistic behaviors from the news articles on Zennel. A narcissist will never own his behavior. It was reported in the Sacramento Bee that after being convicted, he telephoned his teenager from prison and said, Daddy got railroaded, and it all started because of your mom. They have a pronounced sense of entitlement. Here, the wife and teenage children certainly didn't deserve any of the narcissist's money in his eyes. It's about power and control and the need to win at all cost. Here he declared bankruptcy, committing fraud in order to not pay child support. While he may have accomplished his goal and to punish his former spouse and win over her, it ultimately became his downfall. Narcissists lie. He committed perjury in the family court and the bankruptcy court. And in my opinion, a narcissist is not likely to pay child support and is very likely to go to great lengths in order not to pay. They may continue living a lavish lifestyle that they should scale back because of the divorce, all the while proclaiming that they have no money to pay support. They will hide income or move assets into friends' names, use cryptocurrency. They may quit their job. They might get fired. They might arrange to do work under the table so they don't have to disclose their income. And since they are more concerned with their outward appearances, such as having the right home or driving the right car, they will do all they can, including going bankrupt, in order to keep up appearances. The narcissist misses the boat to have himself or herself perceived in good light in the community. Yet the narcissist passes up on an opportunity to gain the true respect that they really want of the community by doing what's right by their family. He just can't see it because he can't see beyond himself. Let's look at another case where a parent took all three of the family cars because his family trust had paid for the cars, leaving the spouse with not a car. The community steps in, somebody loans the spouse a car, And then he quits his job and starts working under the table. And everybody in the community sees how this other spouse is struggling and working a couple jobs, just trying to feed her children. And then he goes to court and complains to the judge that she's saying bad things about him in the community. She never had to say one bad thing. Everybody can see when you're not doing right by your children and you take away the family car from the spouse. So it's important to suck it up, tighten your belt, scale back, do what you need to do, but do right by your children. Let's look at a case where the parents did it right. They agreed that they were going to divorce. They refinanced the home prior to filing for divorce so that the spouse that had owned the home prior to the marriage and the remodel, which caused the mortgage to go up, could keep the house and maintain it while they were finishing up school. The higher income earning spouse agreed to support the other spouse through school, which was about another year, so that they would exit having a good job and both parents would be able to support their children. Now, the importance in this is if you can do right by your ex-spouse and your children, you're not forcing them into a poverty situation, and maybe they'd be forced moving or losing their home, not being able to finish an education or schooling, and all these things impact your children and sometimes for life. If you force your former spouse into a poverty situation, it may end up being a burden that's placed on your children later in life. I hope that this has persuaded you to look at child support differently. While the child support check gets written to your ex-spouse, it is not for your ex-spouse. It is for your children. Please find the link in the show notes below to subscribe to our YouTube channel or email newsletter. Share this with other people that you feel will benefit from the information. And there will be more on child support and spousal support in future episodes.